Welcome to Simply Fun's How to Play Do It Again, a game where players memorize a series of movements and act them out in the correct order. You can play Do It Again with 2 to 8 players ages 7 and up. Do It Again is good for developing memorization skills, as players remember and reenact the sequence of movements and sounds from previous turns. Do It Again also helps with gross and fine motor skills, as players act out a specific sequence of body movements. To set up the game, shuffle the deck of sequence cards and place the stack, number side up, in the center of the play area. This is the draw pile. Place the pawn next to the cards. Perform the sequence of movements and/or sounds from memory before adding a new action from your card. Do it correctly and stay in the game. Make a mistake and you're out. The last remaining player wins the game. To start the game, the first player takes the pawn and moves it counterclockwise from player to player according to the number on the top card in the draw pile. For example, if the number is 3, the player moves the pawn 3 players. If there are fewer players than the number, keep going around until the number is reached. When the pawn stops, it's that player's turn. On a given player's turn, he draws the top sequence card and reads the front side. If the card says no action, then no action is taken, and the card is placed face up in the discard pile. That player's turn is over, and he becomes the pawn mover for the next round. If the card says an action, the player must complete the action to start or extend the sequence. The sequence is a series of movements or sounds that a player must perform to complete their turn and stay in the game. If no sequence has already been started, the action simply becomes the first action in a new sequence. If actions have already begun a sequence, the player must perform each of the preceding actions in the existing sequence, from memory, in the correct order, before performing the new action on the card. For example, if the previous action card said, flex your arm muscles, cross your eyes, and pretend you are an alligator, and the new card says, dance, the player must do all of those actions in the correct sequence in order to stay in the game. A sequence continues to grow as long as all the players perform it correctly on their turn. When a player successfully completes the sequence and stays in the game, he moves the pawn around for the next round. If a player does not perform the sequence or action correctly, he is out of the game, except for his role as pawn mover for the next round. Opponents may fact-check other players performing the sequence to make sure it is correct. Performers may not look, however. The final player left in the game is the winner. Pay attention, remember the sequence, and you'll come out on top in Do It Again.